Hey guys, it's Woody, and this is Mail Monday. Not so much about the gameplay, but this gameplay has a story. The other team had 4 or 5 guys talking crazy trash, just smack, foul language, everything. And there was a guy on my team who heard him say it. His name's Steel Killer. He didn't like it any more than I did, and the two of us just became insta bros, and we sort of teamed up to make them eat their words. I hope you enjoy the game. Let's get started. Road trip around America for 2 British girls? Hey Woody, basically when my friend and I leave 6th form, we want to take a gap year to travel to most places we'd love to see, and we decided that a road trip around America sounds great to us both. I know you're from America, and I was wondering if you'd have any advice for us. How should we travel? Where should we go? What should we try to do? Just any advice or recommendations would be great. Thanks for reading. You seem like a fantabulous guy, and I hope you never stop making videos. My friend and I are both girls from the UK. Alright, first off, let's start with some translations. 6th form, that means they're going to be about 18 or 19 years old when they do this thing. Second thing, gap year. Americans don't use that term very much, but it's essentially a year between schools, right? They're going to be going from 6th form to university, I would presume, and they want to take a year off, just like you might take a year off after college before going to, a year off after high school before going to college if you're American. So that's roughly what we're talking about here. They want to come to America and do a big road trip. Is that a good idea? I think it is. I think it's a great idea if you're the right person for it. I know when I was in high school, no one wanted me to take a year off. They were afraid that if I sort of left, school as an autopilot type of thing, that I would never go back to it. And they might have been right, because I was a bit of a jackass. But I did take a gap year between my college or university for you international guys and when I got my master's degree, and it was a great idea. And I'm a richer person for having done it. Not money-wise, but like I'm a more filled out, a broader person. I'm a wiser person. I'm better than I would have been if I hadn't taken a gap year, and it sort of opened my eyes to the rest of the world. So I think it's a pretty cool idea. As far as what you should actually do, well, let's talk about that. I picked this letter in hopes that we'd get some sort of teamwork in answering this thing, that you guys could help me out. If you've done anything like this before, if you have some sort of expertise or have a friend who did it and you can share from what they learned, drop a comment. Vote that comment up. Let these girls know that we help each other and share what we have with them. Here are some of the things that come to mind from me. 1, you're going to have to buy a car. Expect that. I think it's going to be cheaper than renting a car for an entire year anyway. So, yeah, buy a car and then you'll have a place to get around. That's just part of the deal. I think you also need to be 26 unless you're under the umbrella of some corporate trip, which clearly you're not. So, in the U.S., I don't think you can even rent a car at 18. I don't think so anyway. I couldn't. So, you have to buy a car. 2, where are you going to stay? Staying in hotels every night is going to get kind of expensive, and there is not like a youth hostel type environment culture here like there is in Europe. It just doesn't exist. There is couch surfing, and everybody who talks about couch surfing seems to have a positive experience on it, right? Couch surfing, it works great. There's all these nice people. You meet interesting guys and girls and whatever, and you just crash on their couch and call it good. Having said that, the whole idea still scares me. I saw the avatar, like the profile picture of the girl who asked the question, and she's this, real pretty, fit British girl. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is it a bad idea for her to just sort of, crash on people's couches? Is it safe? These are the kind of fears that I have. But everyone seems to say it's safe, so I don't know. Look into it, please. Don't just take my advice on it. But couchsurfing.com exists, and it seems to be a network of good-hearted people, but I don't really want to act like I'm endorsing it. Just look into it and see if it's a fit for you. So, to wrap up where I'm coming from on this, aside from the help I hope you'll find in the comments, you're going to need a car, you're going to need a GPS, you're going to need a guidebook. It's a smart idea to focus on areas that have some concentration. You can do New York, the Jersey Shore, and like Florida at the beach in a nice little summertime there. That's not too long. The drive from New York to Florida is like 20 hours, so it's kind of a 2-day thing. But you can get around. America's really big, so try to plant yourself in an area for a couple months and then move to another one and do it that way. That's my advice. It should be pretty cool. And we have amazing national parks. Stuff that I'm not sure is rivaled, at least on like a national park level, with some sort of support with like, water and places to stay. And anyway, it might be the best in the world. If you're into camping, then be sure to check out the national parks and put that into your trip. I'm excited for you. I hope you really do this. Anyway, next letter. I had so many like suicide depression letters this week that I had to pick one. So here we go. Hello, Woody. My world has collapsed. 13 days ago on the 7th, my boyfriend jumped in front of a train. We have been dating for over 2 years since we were 14. She's 16 now. And I knew that he was having these thoughts, but I never thought he'd actually go through with it. He called me up when he was at the train station, saying that he's waiting for the train to arrive. I got mad at him because I thought he was going somewhere and hadn't told me about it. 4 minutes into the call, I heard a voice through the speakers saying that the train was about to arrive, and then he told me that he loves me and I should never blame myself. And then I hear a loud bump and the call ends. How the fuck can I not blame myself? I haven't left my room since it happened. I've totally fucked up my grades in school, and the only thing I've been doing during this period of time is watching your videos, especially Mail Monday. For some reason, they work like therapy for me. I'm really thankful for that. But how can I possibly get through this? I've lost all hope, and I'm seriously considering taking my own life. I can't stand the guilt, the hopelessness, if that's a word, or the constant thought of him. I'm in desperate need for help, Woody. It doesn't have to be on Mail Monday. All I need is a reply. I don't know who else to talk to. My parents are drunks who hate my guts. I love your videos and keep up the good work. Bye. How can you not blame yourself? Because it's not your fault. It's not. It really isn't. And I hope that somehow you hear this and know it. I hope that somehow that this gets through to you. You were the guy he called at the end. You were the brightest thing going on in his life. It wasn't your fault. Period. That's the scoop. It sucks and it hurts. Losing someone that you care about is incredibly difficult. There's nothing I can say that will speed up the pace. There are a couple things to keep in mind, and like one of the things that comes to mind is that whatever you're feeling right now is okay. Like, there is no rule book on how you're allowed to feel about this. If 6 weeks from now, he's not in your head for a day or two or an hour or whatever, forgive yourself, right? It's not your job to feel a certain way. It's not your obligation to, prevent all smiling during the mourning period. It's all right. If you feel mad at him, if you feel sad for him, whatever you feel, you have permission to feel that way. Like I said, there's no rule book on how you're supposed to react to this. It sucks, and I feel for you. It's hard, and I wish he hadn't done it. It means something to me that his last act was hoping you'd be okay. I hope that you'll be okay. I hope that, he says don't blame yourself. The last thing he wanted was for you to end yourself. That much is clear, right? We all know that. He wanted you to do well in school, and he wanted you to live a rich life, and he wanted you to be happy. That's what he wanted, and I hope that that's what you give to him. That's how you're supposed to honor him, by being successful and living the life that he didn't. This doesn't ever completely go away. He'll always have a spot in your heart, but that's okay. Wow. I mean, what do you say? I feel like these are platitudes. I want you to carry on and live a happy life. And I get that you need a minute to breathe. Everybody gets that. Everyone in your whole world understands, you haven't left your room for a while. Well, yeah, you're sad. And you're entitled to a little sadness right here. This all seems reasonable to me. But you need to know that bad things happen and it's not your fault. And Yeah. It gets better with time. You know, the whole time heals all wounds things feels like, you know, a cliche. But as a guy who's been around for quite a bit of time, I know that that it does, and that after a while, you'll the pain will fade, and you'll be able to live on, and you'll be able to find happiness. I hope it comes as soon as possible.